Time to get your mind right. Time to get your headspace in order. If this don't work, what I'm about to teach you, then guess what? I don't know what's going to help you. What's going on, everybody? Kenneth Allen Thomas here with Unshakable Conversations. In this Unshakable Conversation, guys, we are going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to be teaching you guys some healthy habits to get your mindset in order, okay? Getting your personal growth to another level. So many people hit me up, Kenny, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I stay positive? How do I, all right, listen. Here is the tips and tools that you guys need. I'm going to go over an entire course that I have been teaching for the last, half decade pretty much, okay? And it has been helping people all across the world from here to Australia and beyond, all right? So what I'm going to be teaching you guys is my personal mindset elevation training course. A lot of this stuff is backed up, yes, by science, and yes, they are also personal experiences and things that I do daily, things that I practice daily that help me get to that next level, okay? And I know for a fact, if you implement these things, they're going to help you as well too. But the reality is, no matter what I teach you, okay, if you don't do the work, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to happen. So get your bootstraps ready, all right? Saddle up, get your pen, get your paper, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband, whoever, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Make sure that you guys get in a space where you've got to get right, okay? Pause the video if you got to make sure you get yourself together, okay? Because guess what? What we're about to do right now, okay, we about to learn some stuff, all right? So how did I come up with the whole mindset elevation training? Well, a few years ago, my son Christian was battling leukemia, okay? He was born with Down syndrome. For those that don't know what Down syndrome is, Down syndrome basically means that a person has trisomy 21. It means they have 3 copies of the same chromosome gene. And with that being said, Christian was born with a rare blood disorder. That blood disorder led to leukemia just 14 months into his life. And at this time, my wife and I, we had to shut down our entire business, our dance studio. For those that don't know, I'm a dancer by trade for 20 years. So with that being said, I had to, move some things out of my life in order to make sure that my son was healthy. The dance studio being one of them, where we had to shut the dance studio down to make sure that we care for our son. Some of you guys may know me from dancing with him on social media daily, and that's because I started dancing with him in the hospital room. We started dancing together to make sure that his mindset was correct, making sure that his mind was right, and it all started with setting that atmosphere, setting things up to make sure that he was good to go, right? And oftentimes what happens is when you get into some form of a tragedy, when a challenge happens, when something comes upon your life, okay, and you're tried at this moment right now. Some of you guys are going through it. Some of y'all hear me, you're going through it right now, okay? You don't know, or you're unaware on how to get through, okay? There's no step, there's no training, there's nothing in school that teaches you how to get through these steps in life. Guess who teaches you? Life teaches you, okay? But today, your boy Kenny got you, okay? I got some practical steps, some practical tools that are going to help you get to that next level, okay? Now, it comes with the form of obviously helping your self-care, okay? Making sure that you're right within so that you can help others, okay? You got to make sure that I had to make sure for my wife and my children that I was good so that I can lead the way. And a lot of times what happens is that when tragedy strikes, we don't understand how to lead the way. Woe is me, or we start, going into our own little hole, our own depressive state, our own anxieties kick in and things of that nature, and we allow those things to take over. Well, I'm here to tell you and teach you how to push through those different emotions, okay? How to get to that next level. For example, when my son was diagnosed with leukemia, the first thing that I had to do was remove myself to improve myself. Somebody better write that down. Remove yourself to improve yourself, okay? I'll touch on that a little bit later, but just a little bit right here. What I mean by that is when I first got the news, I removed myself from the situation. Why? Because I had to make sure that my mindset was intact in order to help my family. Okay, the first thing that we did was pray around Christian. Okay, I had to have a conversation with my coach, which is God. Okay, I had to make sure, God, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to move? How do you want me to operate? Because a lot of times what happens is we move from a fleshly standpoint, wanting to handle things by ourselves, when in reality, that's not how we should. Lean not on your own understanding. Lean not on your own understanding, right? We have to seek to understand before seeking to be understood. You understand what I'm saying? And oftentimes what happens is with people, when tragedy strikes, we start wanting to do things and take matters into our own hands. And oftentimes what I see is when people take matters into their own hands, they don't go too well. right? They don't shift too well. They don't maximize and go to that next level. In fact, they get far worse, okay? Now, here's another stat, all right? 96% of people, okay, 96% of people that do any form of personal growth training end up failing. Why is that? Because they try to do it on their own. Once again, lean not on your own understanding. You can't do this by yourself. This is why I'm giving this training, and you better share this with your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your grandpa, abuela, abuelo. Share it with somebody that needs it, all right? So with that being said, are we ready to get started and learn how the 4% get to that next level? Here we go. So let me go ahead and boop, mindset elevation, all right? This is the Unshakable Mindset Elevation training. I've been teaching this for years. This is the 2021 edition. And guys, you got to understand, this got elevated inside of the pandemic. This got elevated to another level, and I started training people, really how to overcome people that were suicidal, people that were going through drama in their relationships, inside their finances, inside their marriages, inside their business, inside their personal growth, just in general, inside their careers, with their children. This one training right here will get your mind right and help you truly get to that next level. And listen, if you do not follow these tips, if you do not follow this thing to the T, I'm telling you, you're not going to win. But if you do, I'm guaranteeing you that things are going to shift and change in your life. And when those challenges come, you know how to attack it, okay? The thing is that we must be prepared, all right? We must be prepared. So here's what we're going to go through, all right? And we're going to go through waking up. All right. What do you do when we wake up? What is the routine when we wake up? I know it sounds cliche, but it is the reality. Okay. Setting that atmosphere. How do we set that atmosphere? How do we set the mood inside of our home? How do we set it inside of relationships? How do we set it inside with our children? How do we set it in our careers? How do we set it in our spirituality? How do we set that atmosphere? And the next thing we're going to go through are the positive development strategies, okay? Positive development strategies, learning to use your gift to make the shift, and what are the goal challenges, all right? So with that being said, everybody, if we're ready, I need y'all to go ahead and put some emojis, put some hearts in the comments, put something in there. And if you're watching this on in our Kajabi community, okay? Shout out to our Kajabi community and those that are in the Kajabi community, shout out to you. All right, make sure y'all go ahead and like, comment, and share this with a friend as well too. All right, so actually, let me go back a little bit here. Let me flow back. Boom, waking up and living. Listen, guys, write this down. Yesterday is gone. Yesterday's gone. All right, tomorrow will worry about itself, and today is all you have, okay? A lot of times we live in the mentality of you only live once, when in reality, you don't just live once, right? You die once and you live every day. And oftentimes when we have this type of mentality of we're worried about what happened yesterday, we're worried about what's happening tomorrow. When, guess what? January 1st, 2023, there will never be another one again. Like, it's not happening. It's not coming back. It's gone, okay? It's not happening at all. So why continue to worry about something that's not happening anymore? And then we worry about tomorrow. We worry about tomorrow like we control tomorrow. We don't know whether it's going to be hot or whether it's going to be cold. We don't know, right? But what we do know is what we have today. What we do know is what we have right now. What we do know is that, you know what? I may not be in control of the weather, but I am in charge on how I respond. I'm going to say it again. I may not be in control of what happens in my life, but I am in charge of how I respond. And today is the day that I respond correctly. Okay. Sometimes in life, we have to understand that these challenges that come are a test to you to see how you respond, because how you respond to anything is how you respond to everything, period. Okay. So we got to understand that aspect. Okay. When we wake up in the morning, how do you respond? Do you wake up with a bad attitude? Do you wake up with a good attitude? Oftentimes, if you're a teenager, most of y'all waking up with bad attitudes for no apparent reason at all. Right. You wake up and it's funny when you are a young child and you wake up super spunky. You wake up ready to go. You're ready to take on the world. You get up and you're like, yeah, let's go. But as soon as you turn 13, 14, it starts to shift, as in, leave me alone. I don't, no. Leave me. I want to sleep. Oh my God. I want to sleep till 12 o'clock and you want to waste half of your day. Okay. But then when you get to, let's say your late 20s into your 30s, you start looking at life differently. You start looking at life and you start to revert back to that child that's like, you know what? I got to get up. I got to get moving. Why? Because life is starting to smack you in the face. Smack you in the face. So what am I saying? How you wake up is so important. One of my good friends, Brady Murray, he says to his children all the time, if you win the morning, you win the day. Write that down. If you win the morning, you win the day. Okay. So again, yesterday is gone. Stop worrying about that. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Stop worrying about that. Focus on what you guys got right here, right now. All right. So how do we do that? How do we do that? What we're going to do is, guys, we're going to go on and we're going to push in and look at what is the objective for the day and how do we actually set that particular atmosphere in our life so that we know that we are going to that next level. So the objective is setting the atmosphere. Okay, setting the atmosphere. Okay, listen, what are the most powerful beliefs you have about your gifts and talents? So I want you guys to write this down. Okay, I want you guys to pause the video if you got to. Okay, what are the most powerful beliefs, gifts, and talents that you know that you possess? What are those things? Are you a great speaker? Do you have the gift of gab? Are you athletic? Are you a great writer? What type of creator are you? Okay. What are some of the gifts that you have? Are you a giver? What is something that you know that you possess? Okay. So listen, in the following exercises, we will begin to develop and dive deeper into the things we hold on to as valuable or in position of priority. Okay. This will be the key to the reconstruction needed to make the shift necessary for successful living. Understand? Okay. So it's all about, how we set this atmosphere up. Okay. Now, let me go back here. So listen, what I want you guys to understand, when we talk about setting the atmosphere, I had to set the atmosphere with Christian. I had to set the atmosphere with my son. I had to set the atmosphere with my family when we found out that he was diagnosed with leukemia. Setting the atmosphere was important. Here's what I said to the doctors. I said, listen, doc, I understand that you got to do your job. I get it. All right. But I don't care if you're a nurse, a doctor, a tech. I don't care if you're a tarantula. Listen, if you come into this room, you come into this hospital room, I need you guys to be all on the same page, okay? And everybody has to come in with a positive attitude. Everybody has to make sure that they got a positive attitude. If you got a negative attitude, send that thing somewhere else, okay? No disrespect to anybody, but the reality is we can't have that. I'm not going to be in a position where my son's life is in danger and deal with someone's bad attitude. I'm just not doing it. See, what we have to understand is when we set up when we set up the atmosphere, we got to set up boundaries. When we set up the atmosphere, you got to set up certain boundaries. What are you going to tolerate? What are you not going to tolerate? What are some of the things that you're going to truly take upon yourself and say, hey, listen, guess what? I got to make sure that these boundaries are in place. See, a lot of y'all have don't set boundaries for yourselves, and you wonder why you keep getting hurt. You wonder why the atmosphere in your life or whatever keeps shifting to the way that you don't want it. Is because guess what? You're not setting up the boundaries in your life. Okay. Some of y'all work 7 days a week while Chick-fil-A is off making millions of dollars on a Sunday, right? Come on now. Some of y'all, you're not setting up boundaries is what I'm saying. Some of y'all allow men or women to walk all over you because you're not setting up the boundary that needs to be set in place so that you can get to that next level. You want a next level, but you're not setting a boundary, right? Some of y'all, like, for example, for me, from the hours of 10 and 3 p.m. are my work hours. So my phone is on work mode. Therefore, I'm only receiving phone calls for emergencies. I'm only receiving text messages for emergencies. Everybody doesn't have access to me during this particular time frame. After that, then I will respond. After that, then I will listen. It bothers me sometimes because some people may get so caught up in the fact that if you don't respond to them, they get all testy. If you don't respond to them within an hour, oh my God, like what's going on? And you get an attitude. Stop doing that. Stop doing that to people. Okay, you don't know what's going on with somebody's life or anything like that. If you sent the message, you sent the message. Be patient. Start setting your atmosphere and learning how to A, be patient with yourself. B, be patient with other people. That means C, you got to have grace. Okay, be patient with yourself, be patient with other people, and C, have grace. Okay, when they respond, then you can finish. But you don't have to respond with an attitude or move on or anything like that. It's oftentimes that's a heart check. You got to do a heart check. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Some of y'all may feel offended and everything by what I say, but it's the honest truth. You don't know what somebody else is going through. You don't know if this person that didn't respond was in a car accident. But here you are getting an attitude because they're not responding to you. Or you don't know if just because they posted something on social media that, hey, maybe they're posting something on social media right now and they didn't get a chance to respond to you yet, is because they were already in the middle of doing something, or maybe it could be for work. Whatever it is, okay, be patient and have grace with the person, okay? Because you never know what's happening on the opposite end. Again, we got to start setting atmosphere, setting the boundaries. What are those boundaries that we got to set in place, okay? Another thing that I realized when we were in the hospital with my son Christian was when we started setting his atmosphere, we wanted to set a positive one. We wanted to set a positive atmosphere in his life so that we know that he's in a good space. We understand that, oh, okay, you know what? We like dance, we like music. Okay, so let's set that up for him. But before we even got to that point, a quick story. There were, you know, when someone has Down syndrome, normally they are acquired with PT, OT, musical therapy, occupational therapy, like all these different therapies. And for Christian, we had these ladies. They came in with the musical therapy. And they were coming in to serenade my son. And this is maybe about 7 days into the process, after he's already gotten chemo and all that stuff. And at this time, I'm like, man, you remember how I said setting the atmosphere was so important? Remember how I said that no negativity, you know, in the room? Well, guess what? I had to dismiss this musical therapy group, only because guess what? If I couldn't take it, I know my son couldn't take it. I just wasn't beat for the ukuleles that they was playing. I'm a hip hop dude, you know what I'm saying? I like house music. I like funk music. I like James Brown. I like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like that stuff or whatever. So guess what? I said, you know what? Listen, guys, I appreciate everything that you're doing. Okay? I appreciate everything that you're doing. But let me handle the musical therapy part. PT, OT, hey, that's all you. Musical therapy, let the dancing dad handle that. And that's when I actually started dancing with my son. And that's when we started, you know, getting down. But when that happened, my son, for the first time in his life, had stood up by himself. He sat up by himself for the first time in his life when we put that music on. When doctors said that he was going to be weak because of the chemo. When they said that he was going to be more tired because of the chemo. When they said that he wasn't going to want to eat because of the chemo. And things in that nature. My son found the strength, right, to sit up when that music played, when his dad started dancing with him, when I started rocking with him, when we started getting down. And that's what's so amazing. That's what's so inspiring to me, right? It didn't matter what he was going through. The atmosphere has the power to shift it, no matter how weak people will say that you are, no matter what people say about you or try and discredit you for whatever reason. The atmosphere has the power to shift, right? And from that point on, we started, getting, so many different messages from people from all over the world, okay? And started inspiring others on a daily basis. Now, I'll say this, okay? During that time frame, in setting that atmosphere in motion, it got us to understand that, wow, like the atmosphere is so important. So how you start your day is everything. You win the morning, you win the day. This will be my last point on the atmosphere, okay? Imagine yourself going into the supermarket. And when you go into the supermarket, what music do you normally hear, okay? You normally hear music that is soothing. You would normally hear pop music, maybe some Michael Jackson, maybe some Billy Joel or something like that, right? You never hear Metallica, in the supermarket. You know what I'm saying? No diss to the heavy metal cats or anything like that, but you never hear heavy rock music or anything like that. You may hear soft rock. You may hear pop. You may hear things or whatever. Why? Because they're setting an atmosphere for you. Because guess what? The supermarket, they want to make sure that they get their money's worth from you. They want to make sure that you don't forget anything. Why? Because music is so important into someone's life. Michael Pitt said this: lyrics affect the mind, rhythm affects the will, and the melody affects the emotions. Show me what a person is listening to, and I'll show you their lifestyle. You may want to write that down. Show me what a person is listening to, and I'll show you their lifestyle. Okay. And what I'm saying to you is I want you to understand this. Okay. That when you go into that flow, go into that supermarket, you want to make sure that you are in a right state of mind, right? You don't want anything distracting you from getting everything that you need, because normally 9 times out of 10, those who do any type of food shopping, you're not going back if you forget something. It just ain't happening. I do the food shopping in my family, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, if I forget something, I ain't going back until next week or a couple of days after that. They just gonna be stuck. My wife just gonna be stuck with whatever, it is. I'm not doing it unless she go out and get it herself. That's just not happening, because I ain't spent an hour and a half food shopping for several people, and guess what? No, I don't feel like driving all the way back. So that's why they make sure that the music is soothing. They make sure everything is cool. Why? Because they want to make sure that you don't forget anything. It's a good business move, right? So any place that you normally go into, they have that type of music playing to fit the actual atmosphere. So my question to you is this: what type of atmosphere is in your life right now? What type of atmosphere is happening in your life right now? Is it a chaotic one? Is it a peaceful one? Right? Is it a challenging one? Right? When you walk inside your house every day, what happens? When you wake up every single day, what happens? How is your life going right now? Now, here's the next thing that I want you to do. I want you to write down. I want you to pause, and I want you guys to write down, how do I want to set the atmosphere in my life? Okay? I want you to pause the video, and I want you to really write this thing down. How do I want to set the atmosphere in my life? Because and when you do that, right? When you set that atmosphere to ideally on what you want, and if it's already there, great. How can you improve it? But if you improve it, and then ideally, what do you want? What will there be more of, and what will there be less of? Again, what will there be more of, and what will there be less of? All right. So I want you guys to take some time to write that down. Okay. Write it down. Send it to me. Let me know, how you feel. All right. So moving on to the next thing. All right. Next thing. Here we go. Boom. Getting off to a good start. Okay. So again, in this sheet, and guys, listen, you guys are going to have this PDF here for yourself, so you guys can take this worksheet. I'm giving this away for free, guys. Listen, this is, people have paid thousands of dollars and everything for this program, and for you guys, I'm giving it away for free. I'm listening to God or whatever, and God is telling me, hey, listen, just give it to him, because I'm going to store you up with so much more. There's so much more material that God is filling me up with. This material right here, he's telling me, give it to you guys. So I'm being obedient according to his word and making sure that I give you guys this, but you better use it. I'm telling you right now, you better use it. So here we go. Getting off to a good start. Okay. Briefly describe how you start your day. Okay. And give an honest answer. All right. Give an honest answer. How do you start your day? Okay, how do you start your day? And here are the facts of life. Obviously, good breakfast, things like that. These are scientific facts. Having a good breakfast and stable blood levels and lessening the obesity and reduces hunger, during the day. Okay, making sure that you eat well is so important. You got to have unshakable health in your life. Okay, so that'll be a whole nother segment that we do at a later time. But you got to have some unshakable health. Okay, and getting organized. Making sure we're organized, okay? Below, I want you to document your morning routine, which some of you guys have already did by setting the atmosphere. But you can also write a little sentence and everything from what you wrote down and put it on this particular part right here. Below, document a morning routine that will help lead to a daily goal, okay? Are you setting goals in your life, okay? And not just setting goals in your life. Are you setting milestones inside those goals in your life? Because oftentimes we set goals, but we don't set milestones. So I want you to understand, it's not about just setting the goal. You have to set the milestone that's in between the goal, because you're not going to hit a home run every single day. I need you to hit some line drives. I need you to hit some singles, okay? If you're hitting singles, at least you're getting on base, and then you can get to the next step and the next step and the next step until you get home, okay, to score. So I want you guys to understand that the goal is always to score. Okay, but in between scoring, if it's baseball, you got first base, second base, third base that you got to tag before you get home. Okay, if it's football, you got to drive down the field or whatever, at least 100 yards to get to where you got to go. You're going to have to get some first downs. You're not going to get it on one shot every single time. And even still, when you score a touchdown, in order to get 7 points, you got to kick a field goal. So there's always a next step before you get to the actual goal. Everybody got that? If you got that, put in the comments. All right, in the comments. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so here's the thing. If we're good so far, you guys let me know how you guys are feeling. If this is truly helping you, okay, let me know how you guys feel in the comments, okay? Because I really want you guys to get this stuff. All right, this training that we're doing, these are things that I personally do. All right, these are things that I personally did on a daily basis to help my family, to help me, to help others around the world truly get through, especially when the pandemic was going through. My son was diagnosed with leukemia in 2018. So all this is pre-pandemic and everything, and it just so happened that it started to take off to another level when the pandemic happened. So I just feel like this is really valuable, and we've got testimonies out the wazoo for you of other people that have went ahead and to take this course and then take it to that next level here. So let's go. We're gonna continue on. We're gonna move on to the next stage right here. So after we are pretty much using our way of life to set up the atmosphere, okay? The next thing that we got to do is we got to develop some positive development strategies, okay? Some positive development strategies here. Stages over emotions, okay? Now, I know a lot of people have some emotions that they go through. Maybe you're going through something emotional inside your relationship. Maybe you're going through something emotional inside your finances, inside your children, inside your career. Maybe you're battling something even within your faith, okay? And I want you to understand the only way that we're going to knock these things out is if we attack the root of the issue, the root of the problem. Some things got to be cut at the root. And if they're not cut at the root, they're going to grow like weeds and they grow into a tree that you can't remove. I'm going to say that again. Listen. Woo, that was good. Listen, Jesus, listen. Some things got to be cut at the root. And if they're not cut at the root, they grow into this long weed, right? And this root will continue to grow into a tree that eventually you can't remove. And if you do remove it, you're going to need some real reinforcements in order to get it out. And that's going to take so much more work. But if you cut that thing off at the root, if you cut it at the root, let me tell you something, you'll live a life that is much more prosperous than you can ever imagine. Certain things got to be cut. Right? That domestic violence relationship that you in got to be cut. Them children that's starting to get out of pocket, that got to be cut. Your finances that's getting out of whack, that got to be cut. Right? The person that's treating you bad on your job, that got to be cut. Because guess what? If you continue to tolerate these things, they will always sprout up. And they will take shape and they will take root into your life and it will stay stuck. And you'll then end up in this continuous cycle over and over again. Matt in the back, I'm going to ask Matt in the back to chime in just a second here. But here's what I want you to do with this sheet. We want to talk about the positive development strategies and stages over emotions. What we want to understand is that on one side, we want to put all of our positive feelings. What are some of the things that are positive about yourself? Okay. And then we want to write down what is our mental madness. What are the things that drive you nuts? What are the things that drive you crazy? What are the things that drive you insane? Right? That say, you know what, yo, I can't take it. I can't stand when this happens. I can't stand when that happens. Okay. One of the exercises that we oftentimes do is called the shifting exercise, where there are two people involved. And when those two people are involved, there are 4 questions. And those 4 questions are: what do you hate? What do you want? What do you love? And what do you stand for? Okay. And when we ask those questions, this particular exercise comes into play in a sense, because we're weeding out and pushing out all the things that we hate, and then implementing all the things that we want and implementing all the things that we love. And then we go ahead and put the cherry on top. What is it that we stand for? With this particular exercise, what I want you to understand is I want you to put all those positive feelings down. Maybe you got more than 5 or 6 here. What's the mental madness? What are the things that drive you crazy? Do you hate when people leave the butter outside, on a stove? Do you hate when or on a counter? Do you hate when people leave jelly, leave butter in the jelly jar? Like, you know what I'm saying? What are the things that drive you nuts? Do you hate when people oftentimes, like, this is one of the things I can't stand. I can't stand open cabinets in my house. I can't stand open cabinet. I can't stand when my children leave open cabinets in my house. And another thing that I can't stand, I may be in my feelings and everything right now, but you know what drives me nuts, yo? What drives me nuts about my children, I love my babies, but what drives me nuts is when they leave an open bag of chips in the cabinet. Like, stop leaving the chips open. They get stale and nasty, and then you can't even eat them. Then you gotta throw them away. That's wasting money. That's one of the things that drives me nuts. Like, fold the bag back up, okay, and then clip it. All right, fold the bag back up, clip it. Fold the bag, clip it. That's it, okay. But you know what else? I'm gonna say one more thing that drives me nuts too. We vibing right now, okay. Matt, you know this drives me nuts, bro. When my kids do this, it drives me insane when they leave the cereal box on empty. Like, I'm talking about, there'd be like two Cheerio kernels or whatever in the box, and you just leave the box there. Like, instead of throwing the box away. Like, throw the box away. Just throw it away. Just throw it. How hard is it to throw it away? Or when they leave like this much juice left in the carton. Like, I can't stand it. Like, why can't you just finish? You can finish that. You can finish that. So Matt in the back, listen, I want to talk about the mental madness and the positive feelings. You know, you've been through this training. So what are some of the things that you have put out to me to let them know, and maybe elaborate a little bit on why it's important to get this out as well too?
I think this is good because it actually brings self-awareness. Because self-awareness, it helps you with having the right mindset.
Yeah.
Because what drives somebody else crazy and what drive you crazy may be different, and it might be driving you crazy that is driving you crazy.
Yep.
But then you realize all these things are part of who you are, is a part of how you're going to help somebody else, is a part of the type of leader of who you are.
Yep.
So sometimes we don't realize it's not just the positive things that make you the leader who you are, but it's actually the things that you don't like, the things you don't tolerate. That also shows the personality of the leader that you are. And that's one thing that helped me tremendously, because I'm like, maybe I just get easily angered. And those different things where I would be hard on myself until I learned, oh no, this is why that's like that.
Right.
And it helped me, strengthen me, and give me more confidence because I know now where it go. I don't look at it as a defect. I look at it now, why am I like that?
Why am I like that? So how do they apply this in their life today?
Just like you said, I would say being able to write down the positive things. What are some things that make you joyful? What are some things that you like? But then also be aware of what's some things that make you tick? What's some things that trigger you? What's some things that,
Absolutely.
And then you can put those systems in place to be able to help, or reminders or different things. Like for me, I use the reward system. I know I don't like it, and I know I can't keep yelling at my kids, so I use a reward system. Hey, if you do this, then this will happen. I got to spend a couple more dollars, but for my mental sanity, it brings so much more peace. Taking that trip to the dollar store and building a reward system.
There you go. So guys, listen, if y'all not taking notes, all right, if y'all not taking notes, then guess what? You don't really want it. You might as well shut this thing down and go. All right. If you are taking notes, all right, kudos to you. Keep going. Let's continue to grind. Let's continue to get this working. Okay. I really, really want y'all to win. Like, that's my heart's desire. I just want y'all to win. I know a lot of people really say that, but trust me when I tell you, like, I'm dead serious. I really just want y'all to be successful doing this. Please, because I'm tired of the world. I'm tired of the world that we live in and seeing people that are not striving when they have so much potential in themselves. Seeing people when they need to unlock the potential that's in themselves and they just don't know how, and they feel stuck and they feel trapped and they feel like they're in this bondage or in this jail cell and mentally they're just there. But the reason why is because they don't have the tools. I'm giving you the tools. This is not mine. This is all from God. All right. So who am I to sit there and hold it back? All right, I'm giving y'all this for a reason. Why? Because I truly want you guys to win. Please, yo. I've had conversations. I've been having conversations all the time about this. The mental space that people are in. And am I psychiatrist? No, I'm not. Okay, but you know what, yo? I've been through enough life to sit there and tell you that I got enough experience, okay? Nearly 40 years worth of experience of telling you, hey, listen, this thing works, this thing doesn't work. Okay, I got wife, kids, family, business. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. I know I look young, but I'm nearing the 40 edge and everything within the next couple of months. So guess what? I'm telling you straight up and down. These things right here, if you implement them, they're going to change your life. Seriously, okay? I don't want to see any more people that are continuously going through the rate of suicide and all these different things. The divorce rate continues to go up. Why? Because our mind is not right. The mindset is not set. The atmosphere is not set. And people are not putting out their feelings in a healthy way. And it doesn't demasculate you as a man. It doesn't make you less masculine. It doesn't make you more feminine. It doesn't make you none of that stuff or whatever. Listen, we are human beings that need to learn how to get through. We need steps. I said it the other week. Order my steps in your word, dear Lord. Lead me, guide me every day. Send your anointing, Lord. Father, I pray. Order my steps in your word. Why? Because we don't get it right all the time. And when we don't get it right all the time, we sit there and get beside ourselves, or we get frustrated with ourselves. And we get so frustrated that it's like, we take matters into our own hands. So therefore, I'm giving you the steps. I'm giving you the tools. Use the tools. I'm just adding tools to your tool belt. Here we go. Let's continue. All right. Yo, go ahead, Matt.
I got to jump in on this. It's funny because you keep pushing a point where if you use it, then it'll work. If you work it, it'll work for you. Now, it's funny that we're even talking about this on a podcast today because I had a coaching session with Kenneth this morning, and I was like, bro, I think I just need to go back to the basics. And I heard like a small chuckle, not realizing that we were going to be talking about this today. It's it's not basic information, but it's the basics because everything starts with the mind. And this was the first program that we learned. See, at that time, I was in a space where I needed it personally. But since then, because I've applied the tools, God elevated me. Now I'm in a place of leadership and I'm helping other people, right? But now I'm like, oh man. And then I realized I got to go back to the basics because as a leader, I still need these tools. Yes. So even as Kenneth is sharing today, I'm like, man, I'm taking notes like being coached all over again because this information doesn't get old. You don't want to just apply it and then win and then forget about it. You got to keep going back and make this a part of your lifestyle. You want it to be a part of the foundation. The mind is everything. When you change that mind, we change the game.
Change the game. All right, change the game. Let's go. And that's what I'm talking about. The foundation is everything, okay? The foundation is everything. Listen, y'all, I've never seen a sandcastle that's still alive today. Straight up. Foundation. I've never seen a sandcastle that's still alive today, right? Every sandcastle that's ever been created, that thing gone, right? Hurricane Irene, Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane everything, or whatever, then came and got that sandcastle, right? Whatever saying that it's on, that joint ain't here. But I tell you this much, I done seen a lot of lighthouses and everything that's still been around hundreds of years. Why? Because it's built on a firm foundation. It's built on something that is firm, that's going to stand the test of time. It's built on something that's going to make sure that no matter what storm hits, the foundation is so strong that, listen, it can weather whatever storm that hits it. Now, are you the lighthouse or are you the sandcastle? Right? Because you can look pretty being a sandcastle, right? But you can be gritty and make sure that you withstand a storm and have that tough skin and be the lighthouse. That's a gem for somebody. That's a gem right there. So listen, moving on. All right. And speaking of houses, it's time to clean up our rooms. So the next thing that we're talking about is the pillars of strength. This is one of my most favorite topics in this particular course is the pillars of strength. Remember, we just talked about having the positive development strategies, putting in those positive feelings and making sure that we attack that mental madness. But here with the pillars of strength, right? Here's with the pillars of strength. And actually, I'm right here, Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. So guess what? If you think you corny, then you corny. If you think that you're strong, then you're strong. Whichever way, you're right. You know what I mean? So my son Caleb, sometimes he gets down on himself when he feels that he's not a good hitter in baseball. Well, if you keep thinking that way, then yeah, you're not going to be a good hitter in baseball. But if you say, yo, I just got to get better, and your mind automatically says, let's get better. You got to understand how your mind works. If I'm sitting there saying, I never sit there and say, hey, I'm never going to be a millionaire. No, I'm just not where I want to be at yet. right? And you're in the mind, it's saying, okay, we got another level to go to. We got another level to get to. And I continuously say that over and over and over and over again. I don't want to be a millionaire so I can floss. I want to be a millionaire so that I can make sure that my family is good financially through and through. Not for me, but for the ones that come behind me. I got 5 children. I got to make sure that when I'm done in this world, that they have the resources that they need to get to the next level, and their generation has the resources, and so on and so forth after that. There's a reason why a guy named Rockefeller has 6 generations and over 200 members of his family living today are well and good financially. That generational wealth means something. So that's a whole other topic. But these pillars of strength, the one thing that he did, he started to clean his house, and he thought who he was is exactly who he is, right? If I'm the best at what I do, I'm the best at what I do, period. That's not being cocky, that's being confident, okay? Why? Because God created me that way. I'm the best at what I do. You understand? So what does it mean when cleaning your house, okay? So a lot of times what we have to understand is when we talk about cleaning our house, I'm talking about cleaning your mindset. I'm talking about cleaning your room. I'm talking about cleaning this thing up here. Why? Because guess what? It's so cluttered in such a way, right? A lot of us actually need to be brainwashed, right? I know the term brainwash is, brainwashing as in manipulation and manipulating somebody into doing something that is not moral, right? But guess what? If I'm being honest, some of us, for real, you need to be brainwashed. You need to have that mind clean. You need to have that reset, right? Because guess what? Your mind is so filthy and dirty with so much drama and filth inside this world that you've been contaminated with, that you actually need a cleaning. You need a cleansing. We oftentimes detox our bodies, right? For the healthy people out there, you detox your body, you detox that, right? Well, why not clean your brain? Why not be brainwashed? Why not wash that brain so that you can be clean, okay? Listen, Romans 12:2, Matt. Romans 12:2, what it say? Do not be conformed to the way of this world, right? But be renewed by what? The transforming of your mind. I think Matt was just trying to get it up. It's all good. Matt was just trying to
be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And listen, if you're a believer, then it applies to you. If you're not a believer, guess what? It still applies to you, because guess what? It's still the term. You still have to clean your mindset. Okay. You still got to clean your mindset. You still got to elevate to another level. Now with this training right here, the pillars of strength, this was actually inspired by the story of Samson. For those that know the story of Samson, you understand that by the end of this story, he was in between 2 pillars. And by this time, he had lost all his strength, all his God-given strength, right? And he gave his strength away. That's the thing. He gave it away. Listen, some of y'all be giving y'all strength away. Y'all tripping. I'm not giving my strength to anybody, right? I will use my strength to help you benefit, but I'm not giving my strength away. I'm not giving you my weak. I'm not going to give you that. No, right? So the struggles, what are the struggles? The struggles, the things that you struggle with on the outside, right? All right, so Matt, we're going to go back to back on this. I'm going to put out some struggles here. And then we'll go back and forth. You name some of your struggles, I'll name some of mine, and then we'll go from there. I mean mine, not mines. I'll name some of mine. You go ahead and name some of yours. So some of my struggles, Matt, are struggling with creating time for my boys. Right, it's something that I struggle with. And another thing, something else that I struggle with is sometimes being efficient in a day where there's so much compiled and I'm too hard on myself. Sometimes I'm too hard on myself because I want to make sure that I'm getting it all out. So I'll let you take the wheel and everything from here.
Yes, I would say some things for me is being overcommitted. Once I put my mind to it, I can overcommit, which sounds good, but other areas could lack. I could be hard on myself just like you because I put that expectation on me. Mm-hmm. So those are things as well too. And I would say being slow to speak as well too.
Slow to speak. That's a good one. Some of us have struggles with confidence. My kids may have struggle with confidence right now at this stage in their life. Other people may be they struggle with going for it and going for that next level in their life. But what are some of the strengths that we have, right? For me, the strength that I have is I have a strong faith. All right. I got a strong faith. That's a strength that I have. Another strength for me is I'm very compassionate. I'm very empathetic. Another strength for me is I'm a leader. I am someone who is very thoughtful. You see how I'm listing off like a load of strengths and everything right here. I'm someone who is loving. I am someone who's very, very passionate about helping people win. Like these are different strengths that I have. So Matt, go ahead and run some strengths and everything off for yourself.
For me, I would say ambition. Very ambitious, self-motivated, a leader, like you said, very creative, visionary. You give me something, I could creativity just flow.
Amen.
And then very passionate.
Amen. 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 So now we have to understand that these strengths, okay, when we talk about Samson, when he was inside the pillars, okay, we got to understand that he asked for God's strength by the end of his life to kill off the Philistines. Okay, 1,000 Philistines and everything killed in just one shot. And he pushed out those two pillars. And we pushed out those two pillars after asking for God's strength, right? The people that were on the outside were the struggle. Those that was chastising him, those that were mocking him, those that were throwing rocks at him, reminds me of someone else, right? Reminds me of a Christ-like, with Jesus when they were mocking him when he was on the cross and things of that nature. But what I'm saying is that what I want you to understand is, guys, he pushed out the negative. By the end of this story, he was in between two pillars. And by this time, he had lost all his strength, all his God-given strength, pillars, right? And by this time, he had lost all his strength, all his God-given strength. He gave it away, right? Listen, some of y'all be giving your strength away. Y'all tripping. That's the giving my strength to anybody. Listen, some of y'all be giving your strength away. Y'all tripping. I'm not giving my strength to anybody. My strength away. I'm not using my strength to help. I'm not going to give you that. But I'm not giving my strength away. What are the struggles? I'm not going to give you that. No. Outside. Right. So the struggles. What are the struggles? Let's go back and forth here really quick. Things that you struggle with on the outside. I'll name some things that I struggle with. So you name some things you struggle with. Let's go back and forth here really quick. Fill in the gaps and everything. So I'll start off. One of the things that you struggle with that I fill in the gaps and everything. So I'll start off. One of the things that I struggle. Oh, go ahead. Yep. Go ahead. Yep. Oh.
I'm looking at this is blanking. I think that I'm recording it on my computer.
Okay.
So we'll have to looking at this is blanking.
Okay.
I'm recording it on my computer.
Okay.
So we'll have to just
okay.
That adjustment.
Okay.
Because there's a timeline. I think is it blanking on yours on the recording?
Okay.
Like is it blanking or no?
No. Well, the stop is blinking.
Is it blanking on yours?
Stop record is blinking. But just the record is still going. Well, the stop is blinking. Stop record is blinking. But just the record is still going. Okay.
I'm be recording to the computer as well.
Okay.
We're gonna be recording on there. This out.
Okay.
Yep. Be recording to the computer. All right, we good. Just run that little section back. We said we're gonna go back to back.
All right, so Matt, we're gonna go back to back on this. I'm gonna put out some struggles here. All right, so Matt, we're gonna go back to back on this. I'm gonna put out some struggles here, and then we'll go back from there. I mean, name some of your struggles. I name some of mine. I'll name some of mine. You go ahead and we'll go from there. Some of my struggles. I'll name some of mine. You go ahead and name some of yours. So some of my with creating struggles, Matt, are something that I struggle with. Struggling with another thing, something else that I struggle with, something that I struggle with. And another thing, something else that I struggle with in a day where there's so much compiled, and I don't. And sometimes I'm being hard on myself in a day. So where sometimes I'm so much hard on myself because I don't, and I'm too hard on myself, getting it all out. So I'll let you take the wheel. Sometimes I'm too hard on myself because I want to make sure that I'm getting it all out.
Being
so I'll let you take the wheel.
Once I put my mind to it, I would say some things for me is good, but being overcommitted. Once I put my mind on myself, just like you, because I put that expectation on other areas collide. Those I could be hard on myself, just like. And I would say being slow to speak as well too.
Slow to speak.
Those are things.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And I would say being slow to speak as well too.
Slow to speak. Confidence. That's a good one. That's a good one. Some of us have struggles right now at this stage in confidence. My kids may have other people maybe right now at this stage. They struggle with going for that next level in their life. But what are some of the strengths that we have? Right, for going for that next level that I have is. But what are some of the strengths that we have? Right, for me, I got a strong faith. The strength that I have is another strength for me. I have a strong faith. All right, I got a strong faith. That's a strength that I have. Another strength for me is I'm very compassionate. I'm a leader. I'm very empathetic. I am someone another strength for very thoughtful. I'm a leader. You see how I'm listing off like a load of strengths and everything. Very thoughtful. I'm someone who is loving. You see how I'm listing off. I am someone who's very very passionate about helping people. I'm someone who is loving. These are different strengths. Someone who's very very passionate. So Matt, go ahead and run some strengths and everything off yourself. These are different strengths that I have. So Matt, go ahead and run some
motivated,
everything off for yourself.
A leader, I would say ambition, very creative, visionary, self-motivated. You give me something, I could just creativity just flow. Visionary, very passionate.
Amen.
You give me something, I could just creativity just flow. Amen. Very passionate.
Okay. Amen. When we talk about Samson, we have to understand that inside the pillars. Okay. We got to understand when we talk about Samson, he asked for God's inside the pillars. By the end of his life, okay. We got to understand that. Okay, 1,000 Philistines. He asked for God's strength by the end of his life to kill off the Philistines. He pushed out 1,000 Philistines and everything killed in just one shot. Those two pillars, and he pushed out those two pillars after asking for God's strength. Pillars, right? The people that were pushed out those two pillars were the struggle. After asking for God's strength, those that was the people that were on the outside were the struggle, mocking him. Those that were throwing rocks at him. Reminds me of someone else, right? Reminds me of a Christ. Those that were throwing rocks at him. Reminds me of someone when he was on the cross. Reminds me of a Christ. But what I'm saying is Jesus. That what I want you to understand is guys on the cross and things of that nature. The negative. But what I'm saying is pushed out the negative. What I want you to understand is guys on the positive. Out the negative. So he started thinking vertically, pushed out the negative, not horizontally. He focused on the positive. He started thinking vertically. Right. So he started thinking vertically. Oftentimes we're playing this game. Thinking vertically. I gotta go here. Okay, listen. We gotta stop playing this game. We gotta cut that out. We need to be playing this game. Listen, we gotta stop playing this game in your life. We gotta cut that out. So what I'm saying is that we have to make sure go vertical, not horizontal in your life. All right. So what I'm saying is use our strengths to make sure that when you look at your let me put that back up here. When you look at your struggles. When you look at your let me put that back up here. When you look at your struggle can combat that particular struggle. I want you to look at your strengths, and I want you to see what strength hate cannot combat that particular struggle. So a negative can't drive out a negative. Only hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Everything that is inside, negative can't drive out a negative. Here is a positive can do that. Everything that is inside negative. So you got to use what is on the inside. Everything that is on the outside beat out what's on the outside. So you got to use what is on the inside. Drop something in the comments and everything beat out what's on the outside. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, drop something in the comments and everything for me, y'all. For me, we almost done wrapping this thing up. Okay, it's so important, right? I know for a fact what type of person that I am, and sometimes people on the struggle standpoint, I know for a fact deal with ignorant people. I give an example. And sometimes people on the struggle standpoint, they deal with several years ago when my son was battling leukemia. There was this person, several years ago when my son was battling leukemia. I'll give you two quick examples. There was this one doctor. He comes in. It's about the fourth round. Was a doctor. Comes in the fourth round. I'll give you two quick examples. And my son Christian comes in. This crazy fourth round. And with this crazy cough, you gotta understand. Christian had this crazy cough that was in his chest. And with this crazy cough, you gotta understand. And doctors and Christian had this. What I'm talking about. He had this Broviac that was inside of his chest, and doctors and everything. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. He had this Broviac that was inside of his chest the entire time. Of the Broviac was about the size of my finger, and that needle was sticking in his heart the entire time that Christian and at the time Christian had this crazy and this doctor comes in. It was wild. It sounded Christian horrible. And at the time Christian had this crazy cough. I mean, it just didn't sound normal. It sounded. And Christian had pneumonia the year prior, so we wanted to cancel out pneumonia. And Christian had pneumonia the year prior, so we wanted to cancel out pneumonia, make sure that he doesn't have pneumonia. So we asked the doctor, he's got this crazy cough. Go ahead and check my son out. The doctor was like, make sure that he doesn't have pneumonia. He doesn't check out for the symptoms. He's got this crazy cough. I said, doctor, the doctor was like, I understand your expertise, but I'm asking you to check out for the symptoms. Check him out. I said, an X-ray. Can we get an X-ray to make sure your expertise? But I'm asking you to go ahead last year check him out and get an X-ray. Can we get an X-ray to make sure the doctor says pneumonia? No, because last year he had pneumonia. Giving him an X-ray because he doesn't have. The doctor says no. I said, well, doc, something is wrong with giving him an X-ray, and that cough is wild. So
I said,
can
well,
we
doc,
please
something is wrong
check
with
him
my
out?
son. He said,
And
no,
that
a third
cough
time
is wild.
Now, by this time,
So
my wife
can
is
we
looking at me.
please
She's upset.
check him out?
She
He
says,
says,
is there
no, a
someone
third
else that we
time.
can speak to?
Now, by this
That's
time, my
over
wife
you?
is looking
He
at
says,
me.
well, I'm the
She's
head
upset.
oncologist.
She
Oh,
says, is there someone else that
you
we
the
can
big
speak
dog
to?
now.
That's over
You the
you.
big guy in
He
charge.
says, well, I'm the head oncologist.
And you're not going to sit there and help us out.
You the big dog
Okay,
now.
we're the patients.
You
You
the
the
big
big guy in charge.
Okay, now I get it.
You
You're
know, I'm
gonna
not a
sit there
doctor,
and-
but I know
and
my
help us
son.
out.
Okay,
I
we're
don't
the
know about
patients
medicine,
here.
but I know my
Okay,
son. Now I get it.
I
No,
know
I'm
when
not a
something
doctor,
just don't
but
feel
know
right.
my
I know when
son.
something don't look
I
right.
don't know
And if
about
you a
medicine,
parent,
but I
if
know
you a
my
father,
son.
if you a
I know when
mother,
something
and you
just
care
don't
for your
feel right, I
child,
know when
you
something don't
understand.
look right.
And if
What
you a
you
parent,
understand
if you
that
a
little
father, if
intuition,
you a
this is
mother,
that
and you
something
care
that
for
is
your
in you
child,
saying
you understand
something is
what
wrong.
you
Even if he
understand that
doesn't
little
have pneumonia,
intuition. This is that
something ain't
something
right,
that is
and I
in you
need to
saying
make sure that
something
everything
is
is wrong.
okay and
Even
everything
if he
checks
doesn't
out
have
fine.
pneumonia, something ain't right, and I need to
So
make sure that
he leaves
everything
the
is
room.
okay and everything checks out
And by
fine.
this time, we're like, what are we going to do?
So
We talked to
he
the head
leaves the
nurse.
room.
We're trying to see what
And
else
by this
we can
time,
do.
we're like, what are we going to do? And I said,
We
you know
talked to the
what?
head nurse.
Forget all
We're
that.
trying to see what else we can do.
We go out the room. We look down the hallway.
And I said, you know
we
what?
see,
Forget all that.
the doctor.
We
and
go out
he
the
had
room.
a,
We look down the
he was
hallway
by himself.
We
So I
see
go up to him and I say,
the
excuse
doctor,
me, doc. And he had a,
I said, let
he
me
was by
holler at you for
himself.
a
So I
minute.
go up to him and I say,
I said,
excuse
sir,
me,
you're
doc.
not the one that's got to be here 24/7.
I said, let me holler at you for a minute.
You're not the one that's got to.
I said, sir, you're not
watch
the
his
one
wife
that's got to be here 24/7.
fall on her knees.
You're not the
inside
one
of a
that's got to,
dirty,
watch
hospital
his
room,
wife on the
fall on
floor
her knees inside of a dirty
crying her eyes
hospital
out.
room.
Not saying that the room was dirty,
on
but
the floor.
the floor, just being on the floor in the
Crying
hospital is
her eyes out.
Not saying that the room
You're
was
not the
dirty,
one that's
but
got to do that.
the floor, just being on the floor
And
in the
pick her
hospital
up
is
every single day because her
You're
son
not
is
the one
fighting
that's
for
got to
his
do
life.
that.
Watching
Watching
his
his
other
other
3
every
kids
single
sleep on
day
an air
because her
mattress
son is fighting for his life.
at their grandmother's house for the entire summer.
Watching
You
his
ain't gotta
other
do
3
that. You get to
kids
go
sleep
home
on an
to your
air
nice
mattress
house
at
at
their
the go home
grandmother's
in
house
your
for
nice
the
car.
entire summer. You ain't got to do that.
I
You
gotta
got to
be
be
here
here
fighting
fighting
for my son's life every single
Get to
day.
go home in your nice car.
I gotta be
I'd
here fighting for my
appreciate it,
son's
Doc.
life every single
If
day.
you give us the X-ray so that we have peace of mind.
I'd appreciate it, Doc. Put yourself in our position.
Give
Put
us
yourself
the
in our
X-ray
shoes.
so that we have peace of mind.
And he said, you know what? You're right. Put
I'll
yourself in our
grant you the
position.
X-ray.
Put yourself in our shoes.
Now, my son didn't have pneumonia.
And he said, you know what? You're right.
I'll
What they
grant you the
found was
X-ray.
that Broviac.
Now, my son didn't
was
have
sticking
pneumonia.
out of his chest.
It
What
was
they
coming
found
out.
was that Broviac,
And they
was
found that
sticking out
there
of
was a
his
little
chest.
keloid that was
it was
happening.
coming out.
Could have got infected.
And they found that
Had
there
we
was a
not
little
gotten that
keloid
X-ray, had I not
that was
fought for
happening,
my
it
son,
coulda got
had I
infected.
not built up enough strength
Had
to
we
push
not
out
gotten
that
that
X-ray,
struggle.
had I not
Because
fought for my
sometimes some of y'all
son,
don't know
had
I
I not
struggle with
built up enough
confrontation.
strength to push out that struggle.
Had
Because
I not
sometimes some of y'all don't
used
know
the
I
strength
struggle
that
with
I have,
confrontation.
then we could be having a totally different
Had I
conversation.
not used the strength that I have,
So my son didn't have pneumonia.
then we could be having a totally
But
different
they found
conversation.
that the Broviac was coming out of his chest.
So my son didn't have
and they
pneumonia.
were able to go ahead and fix it.
But
and
they
put it
found
back
that
in and make sure that
the
the Broviac
Broviac
was coming out of his chest.
But the
And they were
Broviac, you
able to
gotta
go ahead and
understand,
fix it
that's
and put it back
that's
in
what
and
they
make sure
they
that it
draw
was
the
right.
blood from and they pump the chemo through.
But the Broviac, you got to
Right.
understand, that's
So
that's what they
not only
draw the
did
blood
they
from and
figure that
pump the
part
chemo
out,
through.
but we also had to remove
Right.
that doctor because
So
we didn't have our
not
best
only
interest
did
at
they
heart.
figure that part out, but we
And
also
remember
had
what
to
I
remove
said,
that
boundaries in
doctor
the
because we didn't
beginning
have
of
our
this
best
training.
interest at heart.
You got to have boundaries in life.
And remember what I said,
And
boundaries
the people
in
that
the
are
beginning
for
of
you
this
are
training.
for you. They're going to be there.
The
You
people
gotta
that are
have
not for
boundaries
you, they're
in
going to
life.
show their true colors.
And the
As simple
people that
as
are
that.
for you are for you. They're going to be there.
They're going to show their
The
true
people that are
colors.
not for you, they're going to show
You're
their
going
true
to see
colors.
in the
Simple
most
as that.
trying times, in the most trying
They're going to show their
situations,
true
when the
colors.
dust settles, when the
You're gonna
dust
see
clears,
in the
you're
most
gonna see
trying
who's for
times,
you,
in the most trying situations,
you're going to see who's
when the
against
dust
you.
settles, when the
You're
dust
going to see
clears,
who's for you.
you're going to see who's
You're going
for
to see
you.
who, you know what?
And you're going to
I
see
have
who's
no need
against
for
you.
You're going to see who's
You're gonna
for
see.
you. You're going to see who,
If you
know
stay the
what?
course.
I have no need for you.
Right?
On
You're gonna
another
see.
instance,
If
there
you
was a
stay the
man, I was
course.
driving down Route 130 where I
Right.
live.
On another
Going
instance,
down Route 130, I'm coming
there was
around
a
the
man,
bend
I was
here.
driving down Route
And
130
the
where I
man
live.
thought that he
Going
that I was
down
going to
Route
hit
130,
him
I'm coming
with
around
my
the
truck.
bend here.
And
the
the
man
man
thought
thought
that
I wasn't
he,
going to hit him with my
that
truck.
I was going to
But
hit
he thought he
him
was.
with-
He was
with my
riding a
truck.
Harley Davidson. Davidson.
And
so
the
in fact
fact
was,
was,
I
I
wasn't
wasn't
going
about
to hit him with my
10
truck.
to 15 feet in
But
front
he
of
thought
me.
he was. He was
He
riding a
goes
Harley
off,
Davidson. So in
flips
front
me
of
the
me,
bird,
maybe
start
about
cursing at
10
me,
to
the whole
15
9
feet in
yards.
front of
I'm
me.
like, whoa.
He goes off,
So y'all
flips
know
me
what
the
I
bird,
did?
start cursing at me.
The whole 9
followed
yards.
him.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this,
So
but I
y'all
did
know what I
follow
did?
him. I followed him to his
followed
parking
him.
spot.
You're not just
Yeah,
going to sit
I
there
wouldn't
and just be
recommend
cursing
this,
me
but
out
I
for
did
no
follow
reason.
him.
I was nowhere
I
near
followed
you.
him to his parking
So I
spot.
followed him.
You're not
I
just
blocked
going to sit
him
there
in
and
to
just
his
be
parking
cursing
spot.
me
I
out
rolled
for
the
no
window
reason.
down.
I wasn't
I said,
nowhere near
"Excuse
you.
me, sir."
He
So
gets
I
off his
followed him. I
bike.
blocked him in.
His
Helmet
parking spot,
fumbled.
and I rolled the
His
window
glasses
down. I said,
fumbled.
"Excuse me,
Necklace
sir."
fumbled
He
that
gets
too.
off his
Dropped
bike.
his phone and everything. I think
helmet
it was a little
fumbled.
startled.
His glasses fumbled.
And he
Necklace
gets off his
fumbled
bike
that
and he
too.
says,
Dropped
"You're
his
coming
phone and
around all
everything. I think
fast.
he
I'm
was a
on a
little
bike. I'm on a
startled.
bike. You need to watch where you're going. I'm
And he
on a
gets off
bike."
his bike and he says,
You're
and
coming
he's
around
going
all
off and
fast.
going off
I'm on
and
a
going
bike.
off.
I'm on a
could tell
bike. You
this
need to
man
watch
just
where
had
you're
to get
going.
a
I'm on
lot
a
off
bike.
of his chest, and he was
And he's
taking it
going
out
off
on the
and going off
stranger.
and going off, and you could tell this man just had to get a lot off
And I
of his
waited,
chest.
and I
And he
waited,
was
and I
taking
said,
it out on the
"Sir."
stranger. May I speak?
And
He
I
says,
waited,
yeah, what?
I
I said, I
waited,
was
and I
never
says,
going to hit
"Sir."
you. I said, I'm conscious
May
of
I
my
speak?
brothers and sisters on the road.
He says,
I was
yeah,
never
what?
going
I
to
said,
hit
I
you.
was
never going to hit you. I said, man,
said,
I'm
I love
conscious
you. I
of my
would never
brothers
do
and
that.
sisters on the road. I was never going to hit
I
you.
would never do that.
I had
I said,
complete
man, I
control
love you.
of
I
the
would
wheel.
never
I
do
was
that.
never going to hit you.
I would never do that.
And he stopped and he
I had complete
and he
control
looked,
of the
and he
wheel.
said,
I
man,
was never going to hit you.
man, I'm sorry. And he stopped.
Sorry,
you know, I
looked,
just
and he
get
said,
nervous. I just get
man, I'm
nervous.
sorry.
I'm sorry. You know,
And he walks in
I just get nervous.
to the
I just get nervous.
ShopRite.
And he walked back out
And he
2
walks
seconds
in
later and
to
didn't
the
get a thing.
ShopRite.
And he walked back out
Got
2
back
seconds
on his
bike later and
And
didn't
in my
get,
mind, I'm like,
didn't
dang.
get a thing. If you're that nervous, maybe you should
Got
be
back
riding
on
a
his
Harley
bike.
Davidson.
And in my
But the
mind, I'm
fact
like,
is,
dang.
is that if you're that nervous, maybe you shouldn't be
Hate
riding a
cannot
Harley
drive out
Davidson.
hate. Only love can do that.
But the fact is,
A positive
is that hate
can
cannot
always
drive out
overcome a
hate.
negative.
Only love can do that. So we got to
positive
understand that. Use your pillars of
always
strength
overcome a negative.
in order to get to
So
that
we gotta
next level.
understand that.
To weed out the struggles.
Use your
in
pillars of
life.
strength.
All right, moving
In order to get to
on
that next
to
level,
our
to weed out
next
the struggles
portion
in your life.
of our training,
Alright,
guys.
moving
Moving
on to our next portion.
on to our
Alright, check this
next
out. When we talk
portion
about
of
positive
our
development
training,
strategies,
guys. Moving on to our next portion.
we gotta talk about the wheel of
Alright,
life.
check this
This
out.
one tool right
When we
here.
talk about
This
positive
is the
development
tool.
strategies.
This is the tool.
We gotta
that
talk
is
about the wheel of
going
life.
to truly,
This
truly
one tool right here.
help you.
This is
and
the tool.
See
This
where
is
you
the
are,
tool, okay?
That is going
Because a
to
lot of us,
truly,
we don't know where we're at.
help you
Kidding.
and
How am I
see
supposed to
where you are.
do this? How am I
okay?
supposed to do that?
Because a lot of us,
do you know
we
where
don't
you're
know
at?
where
Do
we're
you
at.
know where you're going?
Kidding. How
Did
am
you
I
even
supposed
put
to
in the calculations
do
into
this?
your
How am I supposed to
GPS?
do that? Well,
Because
do
the
you know
fact
where
is,
you're at?
if
Do
you
know where
don't
you're
know
going?
where
Did
you
you
even
at
put in the
in life? How
calculations
can you
into your
actually get
GPS?
better in certain areas
Because
of
the
your
fact
life?
is, if
So
you
the
don't
wheel
know
of life,
where
this is
you're
what you're
at
gonna
in
do.
life,
How
I want
can
you
you
guys
actually
to
get
go
better
out.
in
I
certain
want you to
areas
grab some
of your
color
life?
pencils.
So the wheel
Once
of
you get
life,
some
this
color
is what you're
pencils,
gonna do.
and I want you to
want
get a color
guys
pencil
to go
for
out.
each and every single color that's
Once you get some color pencils,
All right, we
and I
talking
want
about
you to get a color
self-time,
pencil
talking about
for
your
each and
your faith,
every
we talking about
single
your
color
career, your
that you
finances,
see on
your
here.
physical,
All right, we talking about your
physical
self-time,
nature,
talking about
your
your
faith,
family
we talking
life,
about
your
your career,
social
your
life,
finances,
your mental
your
life,
your
okay?
physical
And what
nature.
you're gonna do is you are
your family
going
life, your
to,
social life, your
mental
rate,
life, okay?
And what you're going to do is you are going
each level
to
or each category, you're gonna rate them from 1 to
each,
10 in your life.
Each
Okay?
level or
And
each
this is
category,
something
you're going
that
to
you
rate
can
them
do
from
week
1
to
to
week,
10,
and it'll change
in your life,
week to week.
okay?
And this way you
And
can
this
see
is
kind of like
something
where
that you
you're
can
at.
do week
I
to
recommend
week,
doing
and it'll
them every
change
Saturday
week
night
to
or
week.
Sunday
And this way
morning.
you can see
Okay?
kind of like where
This
you're
way
at.
you can start
I
out the week
recommend
fresh
doing them every Saturday night or
and pushing
Sunday
through.
morning. Okay,
So
this way
using
you
the
can start
wheel
out
of
the
life
week fresh.
training,
What you would do is
and
this
pushing through.
exercise. You would
So
rank
using
them
the wheel
from
of
1 to
life
10.
training,
So let's say your
what
self-time
you would do is this
a 5.
exercise.
You would just draw
You would
a dot.
rank them from 1 to 10.
You go
So
1,
let's say
2,
your
3, 4,
self-time
5,
is
and you would
at
stop.
a 5.
You
You
would
would
just
just
draw
draw
the
the
next
next
one
for
for
your
your
go
spiritual
1, 2,
life.
3, 4,
Maybe
5.
it's at
You
an
would
8.
stop,
Maybe
and
it's
you
at
would
a
just draw a
3.
dot.
Whatever.
The next
Wherever
one
it's
for
at, you
your
do that
spiritual
all the
life.
way around the
Maybe it's
circle.
at an
And then you
8. Maybe it's
connect
at a
all
3.
the dots together.
Whatever.
Wherever it's at, you do that
your
all
wheel
the way
should look
around
like
the
a little
circle.
clutch
And
of
then
a
you
car.
connect all the
It's not
dots
supposed
together.
to look perfect
Your-
for a
your-
reason.
your-
But the thing
your
is
wheel
that
should look like a
where
little clutch of
you
a
are
car.
at in
It's
life,
not
maybe you're
supposed to
at a
look
3,
perfect
maybe you're
for
at
a
a
reason.
4 in your
But the
career.
thing is
Maybe you're
that
at
where
a 2 in your
you are at
finances,
in
or
life,
maybe you're at a 3, maybe you're at a 4
3
in your
career,
family
maybe
life,
you're
or
at
whatever. A 2 in your
you want to
finances,
sit there
or
and
maybe
take
you're
a
at
look
a
where
3
you're
in your
at
family
and
life,
see
or
where
whatever.
you can elevate.
You
How
want
can
to
I
sit there
get
and take a
1%
look
better each day
at
in these
where you're
areas?
at. How can I
And
get
see
10%
where you can
better?
elevate?
How can I elevate from a 4 to a 6
day
this
in these
week?
areas?
How can I
How can I
elevate
get 10% better?
from a
How
7
can I
to a
elevate
9
from a
this week?
4
How
to a
can I
6
up it
this week?
enough
How
levels?
can I
okay?
elevate from
But you gotta
from
see
a
where you're
7
at,
to a 9
and this
this
helps
week?
you
How
put
can I
focus
up it
on
enough
those
levels,
particular
okay?
areas.
But you gotta
Now,
see where
understand
you're at.
that certain
And this
areas
helps
may
you
fall
put
by the
focus
wayside
on
on
those
those
particular
particular
areas.
areas.
It's
Now,
always going to be
understand that
fluid.
certain
It's
areas
always going
may
to be
fall by the
fluctuating. There's
wayside.
always
that
ebbs and
next
flows of
but
it. But
it's
this
always
right
going
here
to be fluid.
keeps
It's
us
always going to be
aware and
fluctuating.
holds
There's
ourselves
always ebbs and
accountable
flows
so that
of it.
we
we can be
this right
better
here
mentally,
keeps us
spiritually,
aware and holds ourselves
emotionally,
accountable,
physically,
so that we
financially
can be
in our life.
better.
We gotta see
mentally,
where we're at,
spiritually,
so that we know where to go.
physically,
You gotta put the
financially
calculations
in our life.
into the
We
GPS.
gotta
So
see
I
where
do
we're at,
recommend
so that we
using
know
this
where
well
to
like
go.
many
You gotta put the
professionals use this
into
daily.
the
They
GPS.
use it
So I
all
do
the time.
recommend
Using this
So
well
if
like
you never heard of
many
the wheel
many
life
professionals
before,
use this
listen, you
daily.
can,
They use
Tony
it all the
Robbins,
time.
so if you've never heard of the wheel
Brandon
life
Picard,
before,
like you
listen,
can use
you can
Tony
in
Robbins,
anybody, right? Mel Robbins, everybody has
Picard, like you can use
the wheel of life format.
in
I'm telling
anybody,
you,
right?
This
Mel Robbins
formula,
everybody has
works,
using
but you
the
gotta
wheel
work
of life
it
format
in order to
I'm
get to
telling
that
you,
next level. I've been saying it this entire
formula
works.
You know,
But you
this
gotta
entire
work
training.
it.
Make
in
sure
order
that
to
you
get to that
apply
next
it.
level. I've been
Don't
saying
just
it this
listen to it.
entire
Apply it and
you know,
do
this
it,
entire
okay?
training.
Do this
Make
with
sure
a
that
friend.
you apply
Do it with
it.
a partner.
Don't just
Do
listen
it with a
to it.
family member.
Apply it.
Do it with
and
somebody.
Do it.
Okay,
Make
do this
sure
with a friend
that you
do it with a
guys
partner.
do it.
Do it with a
all right?
family member.
So
do it with
the next
somebody.
thing,
But
we
make
talking about
sure
using your
that you
gift
guys do it.
to
All
make the
right.
shift, y'all.
So Using
the next
your gift
thing
to make
we
the
talking
shift.
about
All right,
using
I want
your
you guys
gift
to write down 2
make the
examples
shift,
in the
y'all.
spaces
Using
provided.
your gift to make
for
the shift.
each
All right, I want you guys to
scenario,
write
okay?
down 2
I want you guys to write
examples
down what
in
are
the
your
spaces
2
provided
proudest moments
for each
when thinking
scenario.
about your work
Okay?
performance.
I want you guys
in
to
the
write down
last
what are
1 to 2
your
months.
2 proudest
Okay?
moments.
What are
when
those
thinking
things?
about
Okay?
your work performance in the
Name
last
2
1 to
things
2 months
that
you have,
what are
you have
those
done
things
really well
okay?
in the last
3
months.
Name 2
okay?
things
and tell why
that
you think
they were
you have
successful.
done
And the
really
third one
well
here,
in the last 3
provide an
months.
example
okay?
of
and
a
tell
tough
why
situation
you
they were
think
successful.
you handled
And the
well,
third one here,
and the key
provide an
strengths
example
you relied
of a
on.
tough
okay?
situation.
What do I
you
mean by
handled
using
well
your gift to make
and
the
the
shift?
key strengths
okay?
you
What I
relied
mean is,
on,
everyone, okay? What do I
is
mean by
that
using your gift to make the shift? okay?
Christian,
What I
when
mean
is everyone,
he was
that
dying when he was born with
Christian,
trisomy
when
21. We didn't know that
he was
extra
dying when he
chromosome
was
gene
born
was actually
with,
going to help him.
trisomy
We didn't
21.
understand. We didn't
that
know that
what
that
God had
extra
already
chromosome
put in
gene
him
was actually
right,
going to
was
help him.
going
We
to
didn't
be
understand
his shield
that
for the
what
attack,
God
for the
had
attack
already
of the
put
enemy
in him
was going to be the
right,
shield
was going
to
to
make
be
sure
his
that
shield
whatever the
for
enemy
the
was
attack-
going to try
for
and
the
bring
attack
upon
of
his
the
life
enemy
was
that
going
was
to
going
be
to
the
protect
shield.
him, to
He
make
already
sure
had that
that
shield
whatever
in
the
place.
enemy was
Let me
going
tell
to try
y'all
and bring
something
upon
right
his
now.
life,
Some of y'all
that
got
was going to
shields in
protect
place,
him.
and
You're
you're
not
not raising
raising
your
your
shield in place.
Some of y'all got
Let me tell
shields
y'all
in
something
place,
right now.
and you're not
Some
sitting
of
there
y'all got
blocking the
shields in
enemy
place,
in his
and you're
attacks.
not raising
okay?
your shield.
You got to
Some of y'all got
understand
shields
this.
in place,
when
and you're not
Christian
sitting there
was
blocking the
diagnosed
enemy
with
in his
leukemia,
attacks. Okay,
okay? You got to
the
understand
fact
this.
is
When
that
Christian
he was already
diagnosed with
prepared for it,
leukemia.
okay?
Okay, if someone like myself,
the fact is
or Matt,
that
has
he was
46
already
chromosomes,
prepared for it. Okay,
we
if
would have
someone
a
like
30 to
myself
40%
or
survival
Matt
rate.
that has
Because
46
we don't
chromosomes,
have the extra gene that Christian had
we would
for
have
that
30 to
particular
40%
cancer.
survival rate.
But because we
Christian
don't
had
have
that
the
particular
extra gene that
cancer,
Christian had for that particular cancer,
because he had that particular
but
gene,
because Christian had that particular
to
cancer,
combat that cancer,
okay, Christian,
because he had that particular gene,
had an 80 to
to
90%
combat
survival
that
rate
cancer.
to help him
Christian,
defeat that cancer.
Christian
And that is
had an
so
80 to 90%
amazing.
survival rate.
That is
to
so
help him
amazing.
defeat that cancer.
Because
and
we
that
got to
is so
understand
what is
amazing.
already inside
That
you
is so amazing.
is what's going to
Because
help you
we gotta
get to that
understand
next level.
what is
You've
already
got to
inside
discover
you
what's within
is what's going
Some
to
of y'all
help
not
you
spending
get
enough
to that
time
next
with God.
level.
You've
Some of
got
y'all
to
not spending enough
discover
time with yourselves
what's
to
within.
discover that
Some
thing.
of y'all not
You're
spending
too
enough
busy
time with
out
God.
here doing
Some of y'all
everything
not spending
else for
enough time with
everybody
yourselves,
else,
and
to
you haven't
discover
discovered
that
the thing that you're a
too
master
busy
at.
out
You
here
haven't
doing
discovered the
everything
thing that you're
else for
great at. You haven't
everybody else.
discovered the
and
thing
you
that
haven't
you are
discovered the
that
thing
you
that you're a
that's going
master
to
at.
truly
You haven't discovered the
open up
thing
your
that you are great
capacity.
at. You haven't
and
discovered the thing
unlock
that
your
you are
potential
that you
and
that's
take it
going
to a
to
new
truly,
level
truly
in
open
life
up your
to
capacity
fulfill your actual
and
purpose.
unlock
And
your
I'm telling you right
potential
now,
and take
if you
it
don't
to a
sit there
new
and
level
use this
in life to
this
fulfill
training
your
right
actual
here,
purpose.
do
And I'm
not
telling you
you're
right
gonna die
now,
full.
if you don't sit there and
Me
use
personally,
this
I want to die empty.
this training right
I'm
here,
trying to give out
do not-
everything
you're gonna
possible
die full.
to make sure
Me
that I
personally,
give
I
it
wanna die
away.
empty.
Because
I'm trying to give out no
everything
excuses.
possible.
I
to
know
make
this
sure
stuff works.
that I give
It's
it
worked
away
in my life. It continues
because
to work
I
in my
want
life.
no
When
excuses.
challenges come,
I
I
know this
use
stuff
this
works.
method. It's
all
worked
the
in my
time.
life. It continues to work
Don't
in my
think
life.
just because
when challenges come,
someone has
I
thousands
use
of
this
followers
method
and
all
hundreds of
the
thousand
time.
followers and stuff like that,
Don't
and you're
think just because
popular that they don't go
someone
through
has
problems.
thousands of
We go
followers
through
and
problems.
hundreds of
We
thousands
just
of
use
followers
the
and stuff like
strategies
that,
that we
and
know
you're
that work.
popular, that they don't
That's
go
the
through
difference.
problems.
Okay?
We go through
Some of y'all
problems.
go through
We just
problems
use the
and
strategies
you never
that we
use the
know that
strategies
work.
that you know
That's
that
the
work.
difference.
You pay for the
Okay?
courses, you
Some
pay
of
for
y'all
the
go through
lessons,
problems,
you pay for the
and you
books,
never
but
use
you
the
never use
strategies
the stuff.
that you know
That's
that
what
work.
96% of people actually do when it comes to personal development.
But you
But what
never
do the
use
4%
the stuff.
do?
That's
The
what
4%
96% of
apply
people
it, and
actually
not only
do
do they
when it
apply
comes to
it,
personal
they use the
development.
community.
But what do the 4% do?
They have
The 4%
accountability
actually
partners.
apply it.
They
and
have
not only do
people
they apply
that
it,
say,
they
"Hey,
use
listen,
the community.
I need you to hold
They
me
have
accountable."
accountability
That's why I'm
partners.
always on
They
Matt,
have
right?
people
Matt,
that say,
make
"Hey,
sure,
listen,
I'm
I
holding
need
him
you to hold me
accountable to make
accountable.
sure he's
That's
doing
why
what
I'm
it is that
always
he's
on
supposed
Matt,
to be doing.
right? Matt,
Okay?
make sure
That's what
I'm
we have to
holding him
understand when it
accountable
comes
to make sure he's
having
doing
this
what it is that
mindset
he's supposed to be
elevate,
doing.
y'all.
Okay?
And that's the most
That's what we have to understand when it
important
comes
thing.
to
Listen,
having this
when we
mindset
change the
elevate,
mind,
y'all.
guys, listen,
And that's the most
change the
important
game.
thing. Listen, when we change the mind, guys, we change the game. All right, your personal development, we change the game. Positive and negative beliefs, change the mind, your identity, we change the game. This is the last thing. Personal development, it's the triple positive and negative beliefs. Rebuild your identity, rebrand. This is the last thing, and reclaim. It's the triple R. All right, rebuild, rebrand, and reclaim. All right, claim. Let me just pull it up and everything. Right, rebrand. Boom. Rebuild and reclaim. Let me just pull it up. It requires a great amount of self-discipline in order to change your circumstances. Listen, it requires a great amount of self-discipline in order to change submission. Your circumstances for yourself. Nothing changes if you can't put yourself under submission. Nothing changes if you can't put yourself under submission. See,
we
oftentimes
feed into
what
our
happens
desires,
is
we
feed into our wants instead of the things that we actually need.
We feed into
you have
our
to
desires,
understand on how
we
to put
feed
your
into
flesh
our
under
wants
submission
instead of the
a lot
things
of y'all
that we
sitting here,
actually need.
you know,
You have to
you'll go
understand
off
on how to
into
put
your
your
flesh
feelings.
under submission.
Maybe you want
a lot
the
of y'all
world
sitting
to
here,
see how
you know,
you feel
you'll
about
go
this, that, and
off
the third,
into
and it
your
may not be
feelings.
actually necessary.
Maybe you want the world to
Maybe it's a
see
long
how you
Facebook
feel
post
about
that you're
this,
putting
that,
up
and
for
the
no
third.
reason.
It may not be
Right?
actually
Maybe
necessary.
maybe it's a long
someone
Facebook
that
post
you
that you
got an
putting up for no
attitude
reason,
with and
right?
everything.
Maybe it's
and,
you want them to give them a piece
someone
of your
that
mind.
you got an
But
attitude
what
with
is that
and
really
everything.
doing?
And
How is that
you
really
want them
feeding
to give
you?
them a piece of
How
your
is that?
mind. How is that any
But
type of
what is that
satisfaction?
really
I mean,
doing?
if that's what you
How
want
is
to do,
that
then
really
that's
feeding
fine.
you?
But the fact
How is that?
is
How is that any type
in the
of
reality
satisfaction? I mean,
is
if
that you're not
what you wanna do, then
attacking
that's
the
fine.
root
But the fact
of
is
your
that
problem.
in
You're
the
not
reality
attacking who
is
you
that you're
are.
not
You're putting your
attacking
flesh
the
under
root
submission of your problem.
If you really want to
You're
go
not
to another
attacking
level,
who
you're going to
are. You're not
have to
putting your flesh
understand
under
how to
submission.
rebuild your mindset.
If you really want to go
Rebrand
to
your
another
mindset
level, you're going to
and reclaim
have to
who you
understand
truly
how
are
to
on the
rebuild your
inside.
mindset.
Why do I
Rebrand
say
your
that?
mindset.
Because
And
we are
reclaim
not
who
of
you
this
truly
world.
are on the inside.
If you believe that, you
Why do I
understand
say
that?
that? We are not
Because
of
we
this
are
world.
not of this world.
And being that we are
If
not
you
of this
believe
world, we
that,
need to
you
reclaim
understand
who
that.
we truly
We are
are
not
at the
of
end
this
of the
world.
day. And
And
being
that's
that we are
God's
not
people.
of this world,
There's
we
a
need to
people that
reclaim
He
who we
built, that
truly
He
are
created.
at the
Nobody
end of the day.
asked to be here.
And that's God's
But
people.
we are here for a
There's
purpose.
people
We're here
that
for a reason.
He built, that
We're
He
here to be
created. Nobody
unshakable
asked
in
to
our
be
mindset.
here.
Right?
But
We
and
are here for
sometimes
a
you got to
purpose.
go
We're
through
here
some
for a
things that
reason.
are shaken
We're
to
here
be
to be
unshakable in our
right?
mindset, right? And
But how
sometimes
do
you
we
got to
do
go
that?
through some things that are shaken to
We
be
got to change this
unshakable.
mindset. Right? Because when we change the mind,
But how do we do that?
we truly change the game.
We got to change this mindset.
And I know for a
when we
fact
change the
that,
mind,
guess
y'all,
what?
things are going to
We
happen.
truly change the game.
Things are going to take
And
shape.
I know for a fact
But
that
I will
guess what?
not.
Things
And
are
I
going
make
to
sure
happen.
I will not.
Things
be
are going
shaken.
to take shape.
I will be unshakable.
But I will
and what
not.
do I mean
and
by
I
that?
make sure I will
This
not
will be one of the last
be
stories I
shaken.
tell for this
I will
segment.
be unshakable.
And what
I
do I mean
remember
by
when
that?
Christian was battling
This will be one of the
leukemia,
last stories I
and
tell
this
for
is
this segment.
maybe about the 5th round.
I remember
Doctor
when
comes
Christian
in
was
and tells,
battling leukemia,
my wife that,
and
hey,
this is
we may have to
maybe
do
about the 5th round.
Doctor
a
comes
6th
in
round
and tells
of chemo.
my wife that, hey,
Well, why do
we
we
may
gotta
have
do
to
a
do
6th round?
a
Well,
6th
because
round of
we
chemo. We went ahead and
why do we
studied
gotta do a 6th
109
round?
patients that
Well,
have the same
because
cancer as Christian have, and they also
went ahead
have
and
Down
studied
syndrome.
109
9 of
patients
them
that have the
relapsed.
same cancer as Christian have, and they also have Down syndrome.
8 of them survived, but
1
9
died.
of them relapsed. So we're gonna have to do a recall of all
8
the
of them
children
survived, but 1 died.
that. So we're
got
gonna
the
have to do a
same
recall of
cancer
all the children
and the same chemotherapy
that, and give them
got
a
the
6th round of
same
high
cancer.
dose.
Well, what are you talking
and the
about?
same
High dose?
chemotherapy, and give them a
What's he
6th
getting
round
right
of
now?
high
Well,
dose.
right now he's getting
what are
is
you
the
talking
mild
about?
dose.
High dose, right?
So
What's he
isn't
getting
that
right
enough?
now?
The
Well,
mild
right now
dose
he's getting
isn't
enough,
enough,
is
is
what
what
you're saying?
No, we need to give him
Right?
the mild dose. We recommend
So
the
isn't
mild
that
dose.
enough? The mild dose
we
isn't
recommend
enough, is what
the
you're
high
saying?
dose.
No, we need to give him the
recommend
mild
the
dose.
high
We
dose.
recommend the mild dose.
I mean, we
So
recommend
what is the
high
high
dose.
dose?
You know,
You recommend
what
the
does that
high dose?
entail? Well, it's 15 times more.
So what is the high dose?
15 times more.
You know, in my
What does
son's
that
little
entail?
body.
Well, it's
that you
15
want to
times
give
more.
him.
15 times more.
And my wife and
my
I, we
son's little
prayed,
body
fasted, that you want to give him,
and we declined.
and my
Because the
wife and I, we
requirement
prayed,
was
we
4 to
fasted,
5 rounds.
and we
And we
declined.
said no. Christian was
Because
in
the
remission
requirement
after
was
round 1.
4 to 5 rounds.
So you know what?
And we said no.
We're gonna
Christian
go
was in remission, and we're
after
going to stay
round
the
1.
course, and we're going to do.
So you know what?
What the
We're
plan
gonna go.
was.
See,
And
sometimes
we're going to
the
stay
enemy
the
will try and
course,
throw you off
and we're going
track
to do
and throw a wrench
what the
and get
plan
you worried
was.
and get you
See, sometimes
scared.
the enemy will try
But
and
we
throw you off
believe
track
that
and throw a wrench
within that
and get
medicine
you worried and
that
get
God
you
was
scared.
already fixing.
But we believe that
God was
within
already
that
healing.
medicine, that
God was already
saying,
fixing.
no, we're going to push out, we're going to push away.
God was already healing.
And
God was
the
already
doctor
saying,
would
no, we're
press
gonna
me,
push
press
out, we're
me,
gonna
and
push
press
away.
me week after week
until I got enough
and
courage
the
to sit
doctor
there and be
would
like,
press
listen,
me and
if
press
you
me and press
continue,
me week after week.
we're going to have
until
a
I
serious
got
problem.
enough courage to sit there
We're
and
not
be like,
doing the
listen,
6th round.
if you continue,
You said it was going to be 15
we're going
times
to have
more,
a
right?
serious
She says,
problem.
no, well, I made a mistake.
We're
It's
not
actually
doing
30
the 6th
times more,
round.
30 times more.
You said it was
now
going
I'm
to be
really
15
not
times
doing
more,
it.
right? She says,
Because
no,
y'all
I
don't
made a
even have
mistake.
your
It's
facts
actually
right.
30 times more.
See,
30
the enemy is the author of confusion because y'all don't. And that's what we got to understand. See, the enemy will try to confuse you over and over and over. And that's what we got to understand. Say one thing, but the enemy will try to confuse you over and over. And for that, if I would have had said yes earlier, say one thing, but my son could be getting 30 times more rather than 15 times. And for that, if I would have had said yes earlier, then who knows? That's why you got to be embedded inside your mindset. That's why you got to be embedded inside your connection. That's why you got to be embedded inside your mindset. That's why you got to be embedded inside your connection, your relationship with God. I'm not even talking about being religious. I'm talking about having a relationship. And Christian has been cancer-free for the last 54 plus months and counting. We said no. And Christian has been cancer-free for the last 54 plus months and counting. With this training, guys, It's all about A.
knowing
So
who you
what
are
am I
on the
saying?
inside and
With
out.
this training, guys,
B, applying
it's
these
all
things
about
when
A.
knowing who
The
you
challenges
are on
come
the
because guess
inside
what?
and
They
out.
will come.
B, applying these things
And C,
when
going
the
out and
challenges come
reteaching
because
it
guess what? They
to
will
others.
come. Teach it to your friends.
And C,
teach it to your
going
family
out and
members.
reteaching
Teach it to your children.
to others.
Because guess
Teach
what?
it to your friends.
A better you
Teach it to
equals
your
a better
family
world.
members.
Teach it to your children.
That's how we
guess what?
change the mind.
A better
and that's
you
how we change
equals
the
a better
game.
world. Okay, we got to elevate that mindset.
That's
to
how we change the
become
mind.
Unshakable.
That's how we change the
unshakable
game.
in our faith.
Okay?
Unshakable.
We
in our
gotta
families,
elevate that
unshakable in our
mindset to
finances,
become
unshakable in our
unshakable.
health,
Unshakable
all
in
the
our
way
faith,
through, unshakable in our families,
Now, I
unshakable
hope
in our
that
finances,
this training
unshakable in our
truly,
health,
truly helped
unshakable
you,
all the
helped
way
you
through.
grow to another level.
Now I hope that
and if you
this
guys want
training
more,
truly,
if you want
truly
to
helped
get
you
in,
help
and
you
truly,
grow
truly hear
to another level.
more of this
And if
stuff.
you guys
more
want
of this
more,
training,
if you want to get in
on a
and
monthly
truly
basis,
hear
I'm
more
offering
of this
you
stuff,
guys
more of this
I'm offering
training,
you
and
guys
get me
to get
on
into
a
our
monthly
Unshakable
basis.
Method
I'm
community.
offering you
where
guys
we meet there
I'm offering you guys
monthly,
to get
okay, and
into
I
our
give
Unshakable
trainings
Method
monthly,
community,
okay,
where we meet
and yes,
there
there is a
monthly,
cost for it,
okay, and
yes,
I
there is
give
a cost.
trainings.
I'll put a
monthly,
link below,
okay.
But
But
yes,
if you
there
want
is a
more,
cost for
come
it.
and get more.
Yes, there
because
is a
not
cost.
only am I
I'll
giving
put a
you guys
link below.
trainings like this,
But if you want
I'm
more,
also
come
giving
and
you
get more,
all
because
not only am I giving you guys
my
trainings in my network,
but I'm
that I
also
have
giving
that I
you
bring
all
on monthly
access
to the people in
So
my
if you wanna
connection,
get
in my
in,
network,
if you wanna
that I
take
have,
things to
that
another
I
level,
bring
and you wanna
on monthly
continue
as
to
well
elevate your personal
if you
growth,
want to get in,
you want to know what the
if you want to
4%
take things
did,
to another level,
they
you wanna
got into the
continue to
community.
elevate your personal growth. They
You
got
wanna
into
know what
the
the
community.
4% did?
96%
They got
of
into
people
the
fail
community.
because they think they could do it on their own.
They got
You
into
go
the
ahead
community.
and try it.
You're not
96%
gonna
of
get
people
too far.
fail because they think
You
they
wanna
could
go
do it on
fast,
their
go
own.
alone. You wanna
go
go
ahead
far,
and try it.
go together.
You're not going to get too far.
Fellowship is
You
needed.
want to go fast, go alone.
Community
You wanna
is
go
needed.
far, you go
Those are
together.
the winners. Those are the people that are
Fellowship is
thriving.
needed. Those that
Community
make
is needed.
cameras, those
Those
that
are
make
the
cars,
winners.
those that
Those are
make,
the people that are thriving.
systems,
Those that make
it takes
cameras,
an
those that make
organization,
cars, those that make
right?
systems.
It even takes
It
two to
takes
tango to
an
create
organization.
life.
It takes
Can't do it
community.
on your own. Can't do
Right?
it by yourself.
It even takes two to tango
to create
Man
life.
out there will want you
Can't
to do it
by
on your
yourself.
own.
They
Can't do
wanna
it by
isolate
yourself.
you. But the reality
Okay?
is,
Man out
that
there
we were
will
made
want
to
you
be
to do it
together.
by yourself.
So let's do
They
it
wanna
together.
isolate you.
When we change the
But
mind,
the
y'all,
reality is,
we change the
is that
game.
we were made
My
to
name
be
is Kenneth
together.
Allen Thomas.
So let's
I
do
pray
it
that you
together.
enjoyed this.
When we change
And
the
if you-
mind,
if
y'all,
you do me
we
one
change the game.
favor,
My
go
name is
ahead and
Kenneth
like
Allen
this
Thomas.
video.
I pray that you
Put
enjoyed
a
this.
comment in
And
there.
if
Let
you
us
do
know
me
exactly
one
how you
favor,
feel about
go
it.
ahead and like this
join
video.
in the
Put a
Unshakable
comment
community.
in
We'll
there.
make sure that we
Let
have
us know
everything
exactly
that
how you
need
feel
to
about
help
it.
you grow
And
to the
join
next level.
in the
Join the
Unshakable
community.
community
We'll make
because
sure
we're
that we
building
have
everything
everything
that
that
you
you
going
need
and
to
we
help
want to
you
keep
grow
growing.
to the next
Let's
level.
go. When we
Join
change
the
the mind,
community,
y'all,
because
we're
we're building
building
and we're going
I
to
love
keep
you
going
all
and we're going to
share
keep
this
growing.
with a friend.
Let's go.
Don't
When
be
we change the
stingy.
mind, y'all.
Share it.
We change the
Teach
game.
it.
I
Learn
love
it.
you all.
Share it.
Share this with a
Teach it.
friend.
Go
Don't
get
be
it.
stingy.
I love y'all.
Share
Peace.
it. Teach it. Learn it. Share it. Teach it. Go get it. I love y'all. Peace.